Hello friends, welcome to Daily Editorial Enrichment Program by Law Excellence R&D team. Today we are going to look at some of the important articles of the Hindu newspaper of the Delhi edition dated 11th November 2019. In this slide, you can see some of the important articles of the Hindu newspaper and their corresponding issue along with the page number. Let us look at the first article. Center gets response to the draft Social Security Code. This can be linked to the social issues part of the GS2 paper. It can be studied from mains oriented as well as prelims point of view. So what are these codes? These codes are a part of labor reforms initiative taken by the central government. As a part of labor reform initiatives, the central government has made 4 codes. 4 codes stand for Code for Industrial Relations, Code for Wages, Code for Social Security, and Code for Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions. So, why are these codes formed? Basically, the labor and subjective issues around it falls under the state subject of List 2 of Schedule 7 of the Constitution. Since they are state subjects, each and every state have different labor laws which becomes cumbersome for the investors. Since India is making it easy for the investors to invest in India and programs like Make in India, Startup India and Stand Up India are launched so that our economy improves. In this article, we can see that a draft of Social Security Code or one of the 4 codes that were part of the center's labor codes was published on September 17th for public comments. And there are over 400 comments or suggestions that have been received. Some of the provisions are not acceptable to the labor unions like Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh and other unions. So, what are the objectives of the Draft Security Code? The objectives of the Draft Security Code is to amalgamate a clutch of existing laws which are more than 1428 laws in India in all the states combined and propose several new initiatives including universal social security for unorganized sector workers and insurance and health benefits for the gig workers. And also it is to corporatize of existing organizations like EPFO and ESIC headed by the people other than the labor minister. So, some of the highlights of the Social Security Code are provision of insurance, PF, and life cover for unorganized sector employees. Also, corporatization of EPFO and ESIC is the main aim. Benefits of gig workers are also taken into account. Also, maternity benefit are considered and drafted. Let us move to the next article. Maternal deaths on the decline report. This can be linked to issues related to women part of the GS2 syllabus. It is studied from the mains point of view. The context is that there is a decline in the maternal deaths in the country. The report by Sample Registration Survey reveals a positive development of reduction in the maternal mortality ratio as compared to 2014-16. In 2014-16, the maternal mortality ratio was 130 and in 2015-17 the MMR has reduced to 122, that is 122. Also, the highlights of the survey are that from 2015 to 17 shows 68% deaths were among women in the age group of 20 to 29. The 3-year data also reveals a positive development of reduction in maternal mortality ratio as compared to 2014-16. The drop has been most significant in Empowered Action Group states from 188 to 175. So, what is maternal death? According to WHO, Maternal death is the death which occurs of the mother during pregnancy or after pregnancy within 42 days from delivery. Now, what is sample registration survey? The sample registration system is a large scale demographic survey for providing reliable annual estimates of infant mortality rate, that is IMR, birth rate, death rate, and other fertility and mortality indicators at the national and the subnational levels. Initiated on a pilot basis by Office of Registrar General, India in a few selected states in 1964-65, it became fully operational during 1969-70 with about 3,700 sample units. The field investigation consists of continuous enumeration of births and deaths in selected sample units by resident part-time enumerators, generally Anganwadi workers, teachers, and independent survey is conducted every 6 months by the SRS supervisors. The data obtained by these two independent functionaries are matched. The unmatched and partially matched events are re-verified in the field and thereafter an unduplicated count of the births and deaths are obtained. So, what is that have caused the decline in maternal mortality ratio? Some of the public health initiatives which have contributed majorly to the decline are Lakshya, which is labor room quality improvement, and Poshan Abhiyan, which basically targets the nutritional aspects during pregnancy and also aims at reduction of anemia by 3%. Schemes like Janani Suraksha Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, and Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana has cash benefits for the registration of the birth as well as institutional deliveries along with counseling facilities for going to be mothers as well as new mothers. So, it is a good news that India is moving towards achieving the National Health Mission goals of reducing the maternal mortality ratio within 100. Let us move to the third article, Peace and Justice. This can be linked to the judiciary part of GS2 paper in the syllabus. It is studied from mains perspective, and the context of this article is that the recent Ayodhya case verdict. Now, let us look at the issues involved in the case. Now, let us see the role of judiciary in the case and its significance. First of all, in 1959, Nirmohi Akara files a plea seeking possession of the disputed land. However, in 1961, Central Sunni Waqf Board UP moves court for the declaration of title of disputed land and the removal of idols inside the mosque. However, after the demolition of Babri Masjid in 1992, the Allahabad High Court takes up the plea hearing the title suits. And in 2010, High Court delivers a majority judgment of three-way partition of the disputed property among the Hindus, Muslims, and the Nirmohi Akhada. However, in 2011, the Supreme Court stays the order of the High Court. And in 2017, matter moved to the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court. And in August 2019, mediation committee led by former Supreme Court Judge Justice F.M.I. Khalifullah fails to draw a consensus and the court hearing commences. However, the final judgment on November 9, 2019, the Constitution Bench cleared the way for constructing Ram Temple at the disputed site. It ordered the government to provide 5-acre land to Muslims at the prominent place in Ayodhya. So, what is the significance of this judgment? This judgment has brought closure to a long drawn out controversial issue in our country. The fact that the case is over at the last must come as a great relief to all peace loving people. However, some concerns remain with the verdict, such as the verdict seems to justify the demolition that was carried out in an illegal manner. The court seems to have relied on evidentiary evidences which were made possible because of demolition. Some of the acknowledged rights of Muslims in this case have been neglected. Individuals who were responsible for demolition and ensuing violence are yet to be convicted and brought to justice. So, what is the way forward in this case? As a takeaway point, justice can be truly done in this case when those accused of violence that followed demolition are brought to justice. It is said that in 1528, first Mughal Emperor Babur is believed to have constructed the Babri Masjid. Also, it is a belief that Lord Ram was born in the same place in Treta Yuga. It is also said that Mahant Raghbir Das moved the Faizabad court seeking permission to construct the temple in the vicinity of the Babri Masjid in 1885, but that plea was declined. The important fact of the case, as pointed out by the judgment, is that the idols of Lord Ram was mysteriously found inside the mosque in December 1949. Also, another incident which catapulted the local issue into a national issue is that right wing activists demolished the Babri Masjid in 1992. Now, let us move to the fourth article. After RCEP retinence, need for reform and recalibration. This can be linked to the economy part of GS3 paper in the syllabus. It can be studied from mains and prelims point of view. So what is the context? The context is that India has recently not accepted to sign the RCEP agreement. So what is RCEP? It is a proposed free trade agreement which is billed as world's biggest trade agreement. This agreement is expected to proceed with 15 other members of the agreement, including Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, along with 10 nations of the ASEAN. So, why has India not accepted to sign the RCEP agreement, and what are India's concern with respect to the RCEP? Some of India's concerns regard to rules of origin, tariff and non-tariff barriers. Also, India has a trade deficit with 11 countries out of 15 countries. Also, some of India's concerns with regard to labor movement across borders were also not included in the RCEP agreement, which is the main cause for India's not signing the agreement. Along with it, the concerns of the farmers, the domestic manufacturers, with regard to the competition which comes with the signing of RCEP were taken into account, and hence not signed. However, the writer of this article is expressing concerns of India not signing the agreement. Why? Let us see. It is because India had won several concessions in the agreement which would have been beneficial for us. For example, implementation delays, safeguards of protective sectors like agriculture. Also, India becoming a part of RCEP would have integrated our products with a global supply chain, which would have increased our exports. Also, India is not part of any other FTA like the RCEP and specifically the Comprehensive Trans Pacific Partnership, which would lead to India losing out on key opportunity to create high quality and high paying jobs. Hence, the writer expresses that India's withdrawal from the agreement was not ideal for our Indian economy. However, if India does bring in domestic reforms in the economy, like labor reforms and taxation reforms, we might be able to negate the fallout from our decision to not be part of the RCEP. Let us move to the next important article. No more pro India voices in the valley. The valley in the headline links to the Kashmir Valley in the Union Territory of J&K. It can be linked to GS2 part of the syllabus. Also, it can be studied from mains perspective. What is the context that the writer has written this article? Recently, Article 370 was abrogated by an act of the Parliament. So, what was Article 370? Basically, it gave special status to Jammu and Kashmir, conferring it with the power to have separate constitution, a separate flag, and autonomy over the internal administration of the state. The government of India revoked this special status in August 2019 through a presidential order and passage of resolution in the parliament. Many have expressed positive reactions to this abrogation since they believe it has truly completed India's integration process started just after the independence. However, many concerns have also been expressed, such as loss of goodwill among the people of J&K on the country and the central government. Let us analyze the decision taken by the government to abrogate Article 370. Jammu and Kashmir Valley has been subjected to various actions such as limit on civil liberties of the common man, like presence of paramilitary forces, communication lockdown, and arrest of political leaders of major parties in the state. Also, the major decision of abrogation was also taken without building a popular consensus on it among the public of J&K. The fallout of this situation is that it has led to many common men and women feeling alienated, including university professors as well as the bureaucrats in the state. This could lead to radicalization in the society and rise in the popularity of the separatists in the region. A rise in popularity of separatists can be detrimental to the India's unity and it can negate the purpose of abrogation of Article 370. So, what is that India can do to realize the purpose of actually realizing the purpose of abrogation of Article 370? Apart from just political integration, India still needs to ensure people of the valley feel integrated to the concept of India both in their minds and hearts. Now let us look at the next article, renovate, not rebuild. This article can be linked to the GS1 paper in the syllabus to the part of Indian architecture. It can be studied from prelims point of view and the text of this article is that there is a proposal of the government to renovate or rebuild the parliament building. The summary of the article is that the central government is considering renovating or rebuilding a parliament building so that increased requirements as well as improved facilities can be inculcated. So, let us look at the history of the Parliament building. Parliament House was designed by British architects Sir Edwin Lutyens and Sir Herbert Baker in 1912 and 1913. It is popularly believed that the circular structure of 11th century Chausant Yogini temple in Morena district of Madhya Pradesh may have inspired the design of Parliament House. Now let us see the significance of this building. The building represents the composite culture and social pluralism in India. We can see that many statues like Chandragupta Maurya's and many inscriptions from Upanishads are also inscribed. The Parliament House also has hybrid architectural style. It has Hindu, Saracenic as well as the Roman features. Indo-Islamic style can also be seen in the parliament building. So, why is that the government wants to renovate the building? There is a shortage of working and parking space, amenities and services. The building no longer supports added demands of space and security. Though the intention of the government is well meant, it would be advisable to maintain and renovate the present building rather than build a new one. So, what should the government do in the future? Any renovation done should imbibe the composite culture and rich architectural legacy of India. It should effectively reflect our secular, pluralistic, and inclusive republic. The Chausat Yogini temple is made of coarse granite and is the earliest building at Khajuraho. It is situated on a low granite to the southwest of Shiva Sagar tank. The three surviving images in the temple are Brahmani image, a Maheshwari image, and the Hinglaj image. So, what are the other buildings designed by Edwin Lutyens in India? Some of them are the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the India Gate, the Supreme Court, along with the said Parliament building.